Where will Ad-Dajjal come from? Al-Makan huwa Khurasan, Afghanistan, Iran, all that area. The people of Asfahan, as we mentioned, the land of Iran at the moment that we find, is where my sending and the coming of the hour is like these two fingers. 10 major signs of the day of judgment. The prelude to that is Al-Mahdi. So those 10 signs that we find are mentioned is the Antichrist, the descending of the coming down of Isa alayhi salam, Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Then we find 3 signs of sinking of the earth that will take place in the east, in the west, and inside the Arabian Peninsula. Ad-Dukhan, the smoke that will come, as we mentioned inside Surah Ad-Dukhan. The rising of the sun from the west. Ad-Daba, the beast that will come out and speak to people, is mentioned at Surah An-Naml. And the fire that will gather the people. And the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that there's going to be, towards the end of time, approximately 30 Dajjalun, 30 false liars before the coming of the day of judgment. And some people believe the system that we live around at the moment, or the new world order, that's what a Dajjal is. Oh, Dajjal in the beginning times of modern technology, people said the TV is Dajjal, then the video was Dajjal, then the satellite system is a Dajjal. These are all things which have been documented that people thought. Also, we find some people believe currency. You look at a $1 bill, you find the one eye on top of the pyramid or whatever. So in today's language, we find the matrix. Those who haven't broken free from the matrix, whatever it may be at the moment. Some people think that we have to break the matrix. All these are just thoughts and ideas that people believe in. But in the hadith, it mentioned that Dajjal, he is a man, a human being. When the ulama say Ad-Dajjal with the lam ta'rif, with a definite article, then it means the one Dajjal that will come at the end. It's totally clear and recognizable who Ad-Dajjal is. So you don't need a great deep study to understand who Ad-Dajjal is. A basic Muslim will be able to recognize who Ad-Dajjal is and be able to recognize that this individual who's trying to claim to be an ilah, to be a god, to be a deity, cannot be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because all the defects all shows that this individual has no right to claim any form of being a deity in any right or any manner. We find the Prophet, as he mentioned, I'm going to warn you about this individual. And there has not been any prophet that came before except he warned his people about this individual. But I'm going to give you some information that no other prophet ever spoke about this information about Ad-Dajjal. Indeed, he is blind, defect, or is one-eyed. And your Lord is not one-eyed. There's been no greater creation or trial or tribulation since the beginning of Adam until the end of time will be Ad-Dajjal. His right eye will be protruding like a grape, will be like popping out, will be his right eye. And his left eye will have a skin covering over it. Other ulama mentioned that in the Muslim Imam Ahmad, that he has a wide forehead, a broad upper chest, a hunchbacked individual, defective legs as well. And be written on the front of his forehead will be the word kafir, or in other narration mentioned, the harf kaf, fa, ra, will be imprinted on his forehead. Every Muslim is going to be able to read this. Likewise, he's going to have twisted, cropped hair. He's going to be barren. He's not going to have any children. Also, is Dajjal living at this moment in time? And we're going to speak about the hadith of Tamim ad-Dari, that he is actually living at this time. Tamim ad-Dari was a Christian individual who entered Islam in the 9th year of the Islamic calendar inside Medina. Fatima bint Qais, he mentions that the communal prayer was announced. So we came out and we offered the prayer behind the Prophet ﷺ. And he said to everybody, remain behind. Indeed, I want to tell you something. So he mentioned that Tamim ad-Dari said that we were on an expedition on a boat, and we were tossed around by the storm and the wind in the ocean for some 30 days. Till eventually we saw an island at a distance. And so we took a small boat, and some of us, we embarked that small boat like a canoe or a small raft, and we took that boat and we came to the island. When we landed upon the island, we saw like a beast, Jassasa, this beast, La na'rif qublahu min dubarahu, we don't know his front from his back. So this talking beast, and he's there in front of us, and obviously we were frightened at seeing this individual on this island. And he said that indeed there's someone who's waiting. We thought it was a devil, we got scared. They said indeed there's somebody who's waiting who wants to meet you inside this monastery, inside this cave. So we entered inside this area, and there was a well-built individual who was there. And we find that his neck was tied, and there were shackles placed around his neck and gripping his legs and his ankles. So this individual then asked them certain questions. He asked them about the date palm trees of Baysan, the lake of Tabariya. He asked them about the spring of Zuhar. So he asked all these questions about all these different locations. Then he asked them, has the unlettered prophet, has he come out? And they said, yes, he has exited. And he asked, is there victory for him or victory for him? The days for them, days for him. And he said that shortly, it will be given permission for me to be released, to leave. Indeed, Inni ana al-Masih. indeed I am ad-Dajjal. Then we come to Ibn Sayyad. Ibn Sayyad was this young individual born inside Medina at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Certain things were given to this individual. He was basically a soothsayer or type of magician that he was, that he used to see certain things, or the jinn used to come to him. So some of the companions began to believe that he is a Dajjal. So the Prophet ﷺ, he approached him and asked him that what do you see? He says that I see a throne. Sometimes the truth is told to me, sometimes a lie is told to me. So all this is showing that there's some form of usage of jinn entering upon him or coming to him or whispering is being said to him. And on one occasion, Prophet ﷺ is approaching him and he's got his back turned to the Prophet ﷺ. His mother calls out that Muhammad is coming. He quickly turns around. So the Prophet ﷺ says to him that, what am I concealing? So certain verses the Prophet ﷺ has got him in his mind. Verse from Surah Al-Dukhan, the 44th chapter of the Quran, Surah Al-Dukhan. Al-Dukhan is one of the 10 signs of their judgment, that the smoke will come. You need to test this individual, how much of the contact of the jinn does he have? He said ad-dukh. So he's able to pick up some of the information. So this individual was a dupestar, that he's able to gain this knowledge, but he wasn't able to understand. The Prophet is proving that you can't see the unseen. You can't see what's been given to me. So he said to him, Ikhsa ya'adu Allah. And basically he said, just get lost. And the Prophet was very rarely was he harsh to the individual. You're an enemy of Allah. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri met him at a later stage and he was apprehensive to sit with him. He offered him some milk, something to drink, to eat, and Abu Sa'id al-Khudri wanted to get away from him, didn't want to drink with him, because why? Psychologically, in the back of their mind, Ibn Sayyad has been labeled as being a Dajjal. Ibn Sayyad himself says to Abu Sa'id al-Khudri that if I'm Dajjal, then how comes I've got children? How comes I'm being able to perform Hajj? And Abu Sa'id al-Khudri says that I felt some pity towards this individual. But then he made this statement that I know where he is, where he's going to exit. So now I thought that this individual, he's one form of Dajjal, because he must have some relationship with the jinn to be making this statement about ad-Dajjal.
Al-Mahdi is classified as a bridging gap between the completion of the final minor signs of the Day of Judgment and entering into the major signs of the Day of Judgment. Imam Mahdi will come when the world is full of corruption and turmoil, and he will begin to place justice, equity, fairness upon the earth, after previously when the earth was full of corruption and turmoil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will rectify him in one night. Certain narrations mention that there will be sons of the Khalifa that will begin to fight for the treasures which exist underneath the Kaaba. At that time, Al-Mahdi will begin to appear. The pledge, the bay'ah, will be given to Al-Mahdi between the Rukn al-Hajar al-Aswad wal-Maqam, the Maqam of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Likewise, we find the sinking of the earth. When Imam Mahdi comes, when people come to attack him, the earth will sink and swallow up those people. So Al-Mahdi will be known as the name of Muhammad ibn Abdullah. That will be his name from birth. As for Al-Mahdi, it's a title that's given to the chosen one or the selected one. He's going to be from the lineage of Fatima. Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad from the lineage of Al-Hasan. He will have a wide forehead and he will have an aquiline, a sharp nose. He will be in conduct like the Prophet Muhammad, but he will not be like him in total appearance. Imam Mahdi will live for some 7 or 8 years upon this earth.
Dajjal will come out بين الملحمة وفتح المدينة 6 سنين. We find the Great War and then the conquering of Constantinople, which is modern day Istanbul that we find at the moment, will be 6 years, and the 7th year will be coming the exiting of Dajjal in the Hadith and Sunan of Abi Dawood. Other Hadith it mentions Dajjal will come out when knowledge is limited, ignorance is spread, is prevalent in society, excessive drinking that we find, and a whole list of different things are mentioned, competing in lofty buildings, all types of atrocities and sins that exist upon the face of the earth. Or another hadith that mentions there's going to be something that's going to anger ad-Dajjal, and the ad-Dajjal is going to exit and he's going to come out. And likewise we mentioned when people or the imams begin to not mention him inside the khutbah, in the sermons, will bring about the exiting of ad-Dajjal. Where will ad-Dajjal come from? In a hadith inside Muslim Ahmad we find al-makan huwa Khurasan. So al-Khurasan is like the area, upper part of Afghanistan, Iran, all that area. Ad-Dajjal will come and he'll remain for 40. Hadith inside Sahih Muslim. I don't know whether he will remain for 40 years or 40 days or 40 months. Another hadith it mentions one day of Dajjal will be like 1 year, another day will be like 1 month, another day will be like Yawm al-Jum'ah, and the rest of the days will be just like the normal days that we have. Who are those individuals who are going to follow ad-Dajjal? The people of Asfahan, as we mentioned, the land of Iran at the moment that we find, is where those people will come from that area, and they have certain shawls and certain dress sense that they wear. So from that area, these individuals are going to follow any ad-Dajjal. Amongst them will be an-Nisa and people al-Ajam, wal-Turk, wal-Arab. Ad-Dajjal will be given shayateen, will be given any devils at his service. As for fitna ad-Dajjal, will blow the mind away. There's going to be no greater fitna since the creation of Adam except for the coming of ad-Dajjal. It will come to a person and his brother has died, his father has died, فَيَقُول, and the Dajjal will say to him, if I bring your brother back to life, I bring your father back to life, will you believe that I'm your Lord? فَيَقُول بَلَا, he said, of course I will believe. So shayateen will come and begin to resemble to be like his brother and his father, and this individual believe. We find he will order the sky to rain and rain will come down. He will order the earth to grow, he will bring forth his vegetation. He will walk through the desert and will ask the desert to bring out its treasures, and its treasures will be brought out. Also, we're going to find a great mountain of bread will be given to this individual. 2 rivers will be given to him. 2 rivers which are actually flowing. The river of fire is going to be the river of paradise. And the river of paradise given to him of pure water is going to look, ma abyad, pure water is going to look like, is going to be actually, if you go inside that water, will be entering into the hellfire. That's the Prophet ﷺ said, the person should close their eyes, enter into the fire, because when you enter into the fire, you're going to actually enter into paradise. He's also going to be able to split a young person in half, or split a person in half in 2 halves, and walk straight through the middle of this individual and put this individual back together again. And he's going to come to one individual who's going to be the greatest shaheed on that day, and he's going to do this to this individual, split him in half, put him back together again. But this individual who's going to have that iman, that yaqeen, that certainty, said that I definitely know that you are a Dajjal. And the blessing of this individual, Dajjal la yusallit ala qatluhu, Dajjal is not going to be able to kill this individual. And he's going to have a great big donkey in excessive whiteness. That this donkey he'll be given. He's moving with traversing upon the earth, will be like the rain that comes and the wind that pushes the rain, or the drops of rain, that mean it'll be traveling across the earth at great speed. So where can a person flee when a Dajjal comes? We find there's certain places that a Dajjal cannot enter. He will traverse all across this earth in 40 days. Except for 4 locations he's not going to be able to enter. He's not going to be able to enter into Mecca, into Medina, and Masjid al-Aqsa that we find, and Masjid al-Tur. When he tries to enter to Mecca and Medina, there will be angels there who will be guarding Mecca and Medina, and he will not be able to enter. Rather, when he goes to the outskirts of Medina, he will say, and he's highlighting this prophecy of the Prophet ﷺ, he will see that I want to overcome this Bayt al-Qasr al-Abyad, this white castle. What is he referring to, this white castle? If you look at Masjid Nabawi today, if you look at from the Google Maps, it's a white building. In some narrations it mentions that the Prophet ﷺ, he saw him making tawaf around the Kaaba. So 2 interpretations are given. That firstly, the Prophet ﷺ was shown him in a dream. Other interpretation by ulama of hadith, that this is before he comes out of being known as a Dajjal, that he was able to enter into the area of Mecca and Medina, is something which is mentioned. Isa alayhi salam, he will descend upon the white minaret on the eastern side of Damascus, and he'll be wearing a certain cloak which will be tainted or dyed with a form of saffron, and we place his hands on the wings of 2 angels that will bring him down. So it will be a physical descending. There will be shower trinkets of wet water that will be coming down from his forehead. Below his head, beads of perspiration will fall for him. وَإِذَا رَفَعُ, if he raises it, then you find beads or forms of pearls will drop from his head. Will come down whilst the prayer or the call of prayer has been established. And the Imam is from amongst you. The Imam amongst you is referring to Imam al-Mahdi. It's referring to him, that he's the one who's going to lead the Muslims in prayer. He said, you are leaders one above others amongst yourself, and this is an honor that this is your Imam. Let him lead the prayer. So Isa alayhi salam will only follow Imam Mahdi inside the prayer. And amongst the things that Isa alayhi salam will do, he's going to come back and he's going to do what? He's going to kill the Antichrist. He's going to kill him at the gate of Lud, whereby when the Dajjal sees Isa alayhi salam, he's going to, just like salt dissolves inside water, he's going to dissolve away. He's going to be scared of Isa alayhi salam. So Isa alayhi salam is going to come up to him, فَيَمْشِ إِلَيْهِ فَيَقْتُلُهُ, is going to kill him. That's only for Isa alayhi salam. There will come a time that Isa alayhi salam, that he will come down amongst you, a just and a fair ruler. فَيَكْسِرُ الصَّلِيبِ وَيَقْتُلُ الْخَنْزِيرِ, he will kill the swine. وَيَدُعُ الْجِزْيَةِ, and he will lift up the jizya, will no longer be accepted. وَيَفِيدُ الْمَالِ, and wealth will become excessive. حَتَّى لَا يَقْبَلُ أَحَدٍ, that no one will be able to accept that wealth. Isa alayhi salam will go to Mount Tur, will take his army there and he'll wait there.
وَيَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ يَعْجُوجُ مَعْجُوجُ وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send out Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So meaning that this great wall that will just fall down totally, and then when the doors are open, you find Ya'juj and Ma'juj will be coming, swarming down from every single high location, coming down upon the people. And you find that they will drink the water of the lake al-Tabariyah.
When Ya'juj and Ma'juj think that they've killed everything, destroyed everything on the earth, and they shoot their arrows into the sky, and it comes back tainted with blood. They said, we've killed everything on the earth, plundered everything on the earth, killed everything in the heavens. We're the basically dominant, controlling the whole of the earth.
And the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would destroy these individuals, you find a dude, a worm, that goes into the noses of camels, and beasts go into their necks, etc., and destroy them. And they will all die together, their bodies in a foul smell and stench will be there. And then you find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send birds and pick them up and take them away.
Allah will send down a rain upon the face of this earth, go upon every home. Water will enter into every single region, every single place, and the earth will be washed like a mirror, will be glass, everything will be shiny. The earth will be washed clean, and it was said to the earth, bring out your fruits, return back the blessings that belong there. And you find that a group of people will be able to eat from one single pomegranate, be able to come underneath the shade of its leaves, and the milk that the camel gives will be enough for a tribe to drink. And there will be peace upon the earth. The lions will be able to mix with the camels, the wolf with the sheep, and children will be able to play with snakes, and they won't harm them, meaning that the poison will be taken away. The she camel or the young camel will just be left there. فَلَا يَسْعَى عَلَيْهَا. No one will pay any attention to it. Ulama said it means that there will be so much wealth that you find hatred, rancor, ill feeling, jealousy will all be taken away. So meaning that all forms of diseases that we find or harmful, poisonous elements that exist on the earth, whether it be animals towards animals, or the danger of animals, or danger of human beings towards one another, all of it will be taken away. A time of peace and tranquility, and there will be immense wealth, and no one will accept that wealth on that moment in time. Isa alayhi salam is going to follow the law of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam. He will judge with the Sharia that's been given to the Prophet alayhi salatu salam. He will not come with a separate law or a new law. Likewise, you come and perform Hajj and Umrah, he will get married and he have children like a normal individual. He will be upon this earth for 7 years, and then he will die, and then it will be prayed upon him by the Muslims. They will bury him next to our Prophet Muhammad. Then Allah will send a wind, a cold breeze, a cold wind, min qibl Sham, from the direction of Sham, and this wind will wipe away and take every single individual who has any element of Iman inside their heart. And a man will take a morsel of food and try to raise it and place it inside their mouth. They won't be able to place it, and then their judgment will be established.
If you're enjoying our content and want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support helps us grow and reach more people. Also, if you'd like to help us produce even more frequent and high quality content, consider contributing to us on Patreon. Every little bit helps, and it means the world to us. So, share with your friends, and let's keep this journey going together. Thanks for all your support.